Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to the first reading wrap-up of the year. Today I am going to talk about each book I have read in January while making one-page spread for it. But first, let's start with the cover page. I was feeling productive one evening and made the calendar on the right page, and let me tell you, I am not happy with myself today. Since then, I had other ideas for the cover page I was excited about, and this calendar was in the way. Thankfully, I made it work. January was quite bleak and somber here in Slovakia, and I chose this dark blue pet tape as a main element to kind of emulate this feeling. Look at this tape. Isn't it dark and gloomy yet beautiful? I bought this tape from the washi tape shop, and their Instagram is so pretty and full of inspiration. In their spreads, they often use washi in these intricate frames, and I wanted to try that. They made it look so easy though. I am trying to cover the blank space above the frame with these flowers as best as possible. I was afraid I might cut through the page, so I used a cardboard piece under the page, and yes, that is a very heavy-duty knife, but it was what I had on hand and it works perfectly fine. I think it was advertised as a carpet knife. Well, there is no carpet to be cut, but this pet tape is more sturdy than you think. As I was working on the cover page, I changed my mind again, and you might have noticed the big J on the left side vanished. Instead, there is January written on the right side. That way I can use the tape again and bring these pages nicely together. I also used bold black writing so it would match the border on the left side. And here I will write down all the books I read in January, including those not yet finished. But we will come back to this spread later. Now we can finally move on to the books I have finished in January and to the first spread. I have used quite an array of washi tapes here. This muted pink one is definitely from the Notebook Therapy, and it pairs nicely with this darker brown gold one that says The Queen of Darkness, but I am not sure you can see that. This one is from Czech stationery shop Světpasek, and I love it so much, but sadly there are not many occasions to use it. Today, it fits perfectly with both books I am going to talk about here. The shiny black washi tape is so old, I have no idea where I got this from, but all I know is it stains paper yellow. But it's pretty, so I had to use it. Okay, the first book I finished in January is Along the Razor's Edge by Robert J. Hayes. I have seen Mel Lemeritz gushing about this one so many times that I decided to give it a try. It is, I believe, self-published dark fantasy about Eskara, 15-year-old girl who was a sorceress, a weapon for her empire, but she fought the war on the wrong side. When they lost, she was captured, stripped of her magic and thrown into the mines of the pit, a prison sunk deep into the earth where she is surrounded by murderers and thieves, and she is trying to escape. Her days are filled with constant digging, torture and hate. She is filled with anger and it radiates through her actions and words, and it is so present you can feel it yourself. And the narrator of the audiobook does an incredible job. Eskara is not a typical hero. She is, let's say, stubborn, self-centered bitch who has no problem with using anyone and everyone for her own benefit. And despite her being one-dimensional, she is quite a memorable character, and I love her. This book is narrated by Eska herself as an older woman, so it takes some of this suspense out because we know she will get out and survive. She also constantly teases us about events from her future. Well, our future, her past, but it gets kind of annoying and tiring, and it feels all the same. This is not a typical heroine story, and I definitely want to continue with the series. And while we are talking about strong-willed female characters, let's talk about Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence. Holy Sister is the third and last book in the Book of the Ancestor trilogy. It is a dark and emotional blend of sci-fi and fantasy about Nonna and her friends living in the convent of Sweet Mercy, where they are raised and trained in battle and magic by nuns. There is so much going on in the second part of the book, I had a hard time putting it down. And I remember after one of the reading sessions, I was looking at the book and the minuscule amount of pages left. And I was wondering, how the hell can this ending be good and satisfying? There was still so much to happen. But Mark Lawrence put it all together nicely. I was not over the moon, pun intended, with everything, but I am overall happy with the ending and have it all tied together. I am not fan of the writing style, as I already said in reviews of the previous books. And I don't know why, it is so difficult for me to get through his books for some reason, but this was well worth it. Mark Lawrence can write young women so good, so believably, and I would not even realize this without a friend mentioning it in her wrap-up video. They are so real, not annoying and one-dimensional as we see so often. They are flawed, oh man, so flawed, but it is balanced nicely with their good qualities. This book, this world is filled with strong, intelligent women that are not afraid to stand their ground and to fight for their loved ones and for the future of everyone on the planet. Also, both sequels in the series start with a small section of recap of what happened so far, and it was so helpful. I would love if more authors did that. It helped me to get right into the story as if I just finished previous book. And this is how the first spread turned out. It is dark and pink, and I love how it came together. I love how these books are similar yet so different. I used the notebook therapy washi tapes again on both pages here, and despite using one set, the pages end up looking completely different, and I love that. Let's start with the left side. I used this purplish magical celestial tape to cover the top left corner of the page, the same way as if I used paper, but washi tape is much thinner and won't make my journal extra bulky. So let's talk about the next book, Beyond the Wand, The Magic and Mayhem of Growing Up a Wizard. It is an autobiography by Tom Felton, the guy who played Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter. I listened to audiobook because it is narrated by Tom Felton himself, and him being an actor, I had faith it could actually be good. And it was. I do not read biographies often, and when I do, it is so much enjoyable when I am reading about someone I actually know. Not personally, but I am one of those now adults that grew up with Harry Potter and waited patiently whole year for a new book to drop, just so I could read it all in 1 or 2 days and then wait again. It is a relatively short book, as most autobiographies are. Tom shares so many stories from his childhood, from his years playing Draco Malfoy on the Harry Potter set, and later he talks about his battle with depression and substance abuse. And these stories were all heartwarming, entertaining and honest, but also raw and vulnerable when needed. I enjoyed his insights about the filming, his perspective on everything. There are also chapters about his family and about his friendship with other actors, and oh boy, Tom Felton was a handful as a child, and his mother deserves all the praise. It is kind of weird to read memoir, This feels like a collection of short stories and cute moments, and I had a good time listening to this one. I definitely recommend audiobook. Tom does a great job, and I found myself laughing and snickering on my way to work way too many times. Next page I decorated similarly, but with this brown washi tape with herbs, moons and text. And it matches so nicely with The Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan, as most of the story happens in nature as well. This is a 6-book-long epic fantasy series where humans worship and fear gods for they have magic, they are invincible in battle, and they seem to be immortal. Until one day, God is killed by a blade of mere human and everything goes from bad to worse. This all happens in chapter 1, so I am giving you no spoilers. I love the array of characters here. We have the God Killer, who is quite reluctant to own to his new status. There is Suri, young seer who can talk to trees and animals and predict future from bones. And there is also Persephone, who does her best to lead her people despite facing a tragedy after tragedy. There are so many memorable side characters, and the best part is that I can tell who is who. They are all unique enough for me to get them all straight in my head. I don't know about you, but I get characters mixed all the time, and when they have similar names or even names starting in same letter, I can't help it, they always get mixed together. This is a simple story, and I mean it in a good way. There is main storyline and few side ones, and some of them merge together, and it is so easy to keep track of what is going on, and I do not have to be in constant state of watchfulness in case there is some hint or hidden meaning. There sure are, but it is very approachable and nice change of pace between those other heavy epic fantasy books. And guys, I kept the best book for the end. I was lucky to have a 5-star read already in January, and with a book I would never guess I would like. I Who Have Never Known Man by Jacqueline Harpman. This book should not have worked for me, but it did. It is dystopian, post-apocalyptic literary fiction told by a girl who grew up in prison with other 39 women. They all were kidnapped and put there, and no one knows why. She remembers nothing except living enclosed by bars and being guarded constantly by, well, guards that keep a very close eye on all of them and make sure everyone follows rules. She does not know what grass is or how it feels under the feet, or why she should respect her elders. All the customs and ideologies and beliefs we absorb since day one are a foreign concept to her. She does not understand what these other women are all so upset about, nor what they are talking about most of the time. This is a very short book. It has barely 200 pages, so I can't talk about it much. But, well, maybe I can say that one day they'd get an opportunity to escape. And that's it. It is bleak and very character-driven. There is not much to a plot, and it certainly won't give you answers. And oh, I don't like books without answers. But I don't know, this one was different. It was so immersive and interesting, and I still keep thinking about it. I kid you not, I finished this book and stared at the wall for a while. It was great. I used here the same tape as on the cover and created the border out of different flowers and plants. And I was writing so much, I ran out of space. Thankfully, I had few pages left in my previous reading journal, so I resumed my writing there and then Frankensteined it into the page. I could continue on to the next page, but I was hoping to use it for my statistics. I tried something different. If you have watched some of my previous wrap-ups, you might remember I used to do these full spread statistics with glued-in pie charts and stuff that took me forever to prepare. And I love those. I enjoy good statistics spread, but I am also trying to figure out maybe a better way. So this time I did approach it very simply, as you can see. And I did use the compass. I am not sure if I found the right term for it, the thingy used for making circles. It brought back so many memories. I used this one in high school, so it's, oh man, at least 15 years old, and it still works perfectly. I used highlighters and variety of blue and gray pens to fill in the pie charts. I was so tempted to just use blue for everything, but thankfully this orange highlighter made its way onto the page as well, and it's not so moody and dark anymore. So this is a very simple statistic page, and let's go back to the cover page where we can finally fill in everything. I wrote down every book I read in January, and in the calendar I will mark down days I read each book. Not the exact days I read, but all days from starting to finishing the book. I hope it makes sense. I am also numbering each book, and I think I will continue the numbers throughout the year. That means I will continue in February with number 8, and if I read certain books over a few months, they will keep the number. Okay, I'm just babbling about. Maybe I'll be able to make it more clear in the next wrap-up when you'll be able to actually see what I mean. I had small space left down on the page, so I made it into a day's reading trackers for physical and audiobooks separately. I was keeping track of it in my digital spreadsheet, so it was easy to figure out which ways to fill in. And it seems I listen to audiobooks more often than read physically, which is not surprising. Now it is time to fill in my yearly spreads. Don't worry, this won't take much time. Let's see if I read any book from my bookshelf. I did 1. That is still a progress, and I believe I will be able to cross few more next month. We can fill in 5 squares in the reading tracker since I finished 5 books. And let's hope I won't lose this pen because it looks so nice on this page. I finished 1 series, the Book of the Ancestor, and I started 2 more, the War Eternal and the Legends of the First Empire, which I need to create entry for. These are all my ongoing series. I decided not to include all finished ones from last year, and that way there is more space left for the ones I will start in 2024. I can also fill in some rows in A to Z reading challenge. It is quite easy to fill those now, but it will get more difficult with more books added. And I can't wait to see how it will look at the end of the year. Read versus bought spread. Again, I finished 5 books and I bought none. I can't believe I am still keeping with my resolution not to buy more books until I read more from my shelves. I know it has been only a month, but come on, there are so many good books being published every minute. Lastly, the book bracket. I think the best book of January is quite easy to pick since I had a 5-star read. It is I Would Have Never Known Man, and for now I will just write down the title. And this is it, guys. All January spreads in my reading journal are done and I am so happy with them. Also, there is a complete flip-through of my 2023 reading journal if you want to see more. And guys, I can't believe I am saying this. Thank you so much for 1000 subscribers. It means a lot to me and I am grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Have an absolutely awesome day. See you next time. Bye.